Leanzy Peterson, and I'm here today with Director J.C. Chandor, the director of All Is Lost. Your big hit before this was Margin Call, which was about the 2008 financial crisis. How do you go from financial crisis to Man Lost at Sea?
Yeah, it's a process. It's a slow walk. But I was in the middle of editing Margin Call, and I normally like to start writing whatever I'm going to do next, and I wrote the letter that begins the beginning of this film. So there's a sort of an end-of-life letter. And I wrote that, and that idea sort of sat there just in that form for probably 5 or 6 months, kind of building momentum. And suddenly it starts to be the one idea that's sort of collecting the most snow as it goes down the hill.
This is the Virginia Gene with an SOS call, over. This is the Virginia Gene with an SOS call, over.
This was also a really dangerous film to make, I heard. So what was it like directing, 76-year-old Robert Redford to do such dangerous stunts?
Yeah, it was very intense. It, it didn't have to be a part of the project, but it was something he chose to kind of tackle it by himself. So he essentially did most of the work.
There's no dialogue except for the few curse words, and there's no backstory. Why did you go that route?
I think as long as you knew he was leaving some kind of a community behind, and that he had some unfinished business in his life in a way. That was sort of all that we thought you needed to know.
Yeah, and it felt a lot more genuine.
Yeah, if you sort of, hopefully by the third act of the film, you are essentially imposing kind of your own story into what he's doing.
The main character had a really hard time getting those ships to stop for him, and on top of that, a shark goes and takes the fish that he caught, and I kind of felt like there was this theme of how the rich people see the working class. Is that what you were trying to convey?
Yeah, I mean, the neat thing about the film is exactly that. It's very, very simple and base in what it is, and it's sort of this thing that is not necessary. You don't have to go sail around the world. It serves no sort of functional purpose at this point. So, on that story, hopefully it does sort of become, a metaphor or a fable. I'm trying not to be too specific about it because, again, it's sort of, that's the film I intended. And so the neat thing is, much of that is there, absolutely, as an artist, but it's kind of for the audience to be able to kind of go there and have their own experience with it.
One scene that really stood out to me was the fact that he was still shaving, and there's nobody there. Nobody could see him, so why does he still care about how he looks?
Yeah, that I loved. I mean, that's in the script, and he loved that. So it's, it's an attempt to sort of, that's how you learn. Through all these actions throughout the film, he also waits to have his first drink until probably 3 or 4 days after the kind of initiating incident. So he's a person who wanted to have his life kind of put together before he gave himself the reward of actually a slug of whiskey. And so through all these different actions, my hope was you start to get a feeling for who the guy is. So the shaving thing is he's about to face what sort of the unknown, essentially. And because, his equipment has been destroyed, so that he doesn't know if a storm coming at him is sort of a passing thunderstorm or potentially the end of his life.
Make sure you check out the film in a movie theater near you. For K-Art News, I'm Leanzy Peterson.